Hi, my name is Adeline Paris, and this is my brochure for my project on the prenatal substance exposure. So first, with my project, I started my research at the National Institute of Drug Abuse, and they had a lot of statistics on babies who are born suffering from opioid withdrawal, and they showed a good statistic on how this has been an increasing epidemic within society and has increased by 5 times the amount than in 2004. So this gave a lot of helpful statistics and just an overview of what all of this is, and it's also a government agency. So I knew that it was reliable and it really helped kickstart my research. So that website started talking about NAS, or neonatal opioid withdrawal syndrome, or it's also called neonatal abstinence syndrome, which is where NAS comes from. And I talked about that on my middle slide and gave some of the symptoms of NAS, which were tremors, diarrhea, fever, irritability, seizures, not sleeping, apnea, hyperactive reflexes, malnutrition. And I gave a statistic on how 32,000 babies were born with NAS in 2014. And so after I talked about kind of what NAS is and the symptoms of it and what you see in the newborn phase with that, I went into caring for your newborn with NAS. So some of the things that I found, I researched this and found a lot from the Coalition for Children, Youth, and Families. And they gave a lot of really helpful practical tips on caring for your newborn. And so just an overview, some of the things that they were saying was a quiet, dim environment to keep your baby calm. Part of this was also not letting your baby be around a bunch of people because they can be very irritable. Spending a lot of time with them. They need a lot of skin-to-skin touch. They need swaddling. They need cuddling to make them feel safe, and knowing that they're cared for will calm them down. Using high-calorie formula because eating is hard for them, so you want to give them a lot of nutrients when they are eating. Giving them a pacifier because they have overactive sucking reflexes. Minimizing noise and light exposure, so keeping them in a really just calm place is very vital for caring for a baby with NAS. So then after that, I went on to effects on toddlers, and I actually found a really cool study that was done at Cincinnati Children's, so this is local. And Stephanie Merhart conducted a study of 87 2-year-olds who had been diagnosed with NAS at birth. And her results showed that children treated for NAS scored significantly lower in 3 categories, which were cognitive, language, and motor skills. And children who had NAS who lived with foster and adoptive families scored higher than those with NAS who lived with biological families, which I found interesting as well. And then another part that I found was interesting, that was 7 out of the 87 children tested in this study were treated for a lazy eye. So this could be a common symptom of NAS on children. And so then lastly, I looked at long-term effects, and there honestly wasn't a lot of information on this because this is such a new epidemic. And most of what I found was on school performance. That was really the only results that I could find. There was a study conducted in Wales, and it said that by grade 7, children diagnosed with NAS were scoring lower than children without NAS as a 5th grader. So 7th graders were scoring lower than 5th graders. They were also showing low performance in reading and literacy skills, and that is one of the most important predictors of school success. And so one of the ways I talked about caring for a child with NAS would be spending a lot of time on schoolwork and giving them a lot of attention, maybe tutoring, small class sizes, maybe even homeschooling, just giving them that extra care that they need in order to succeed. So with my design choices, you can't see here, but this is blue. This is like a light blue turquoise color. It's very sleek, it's clean, it's simple, which is what I wanted. I wanted the reader to be able to just focus on the facts and not be distracted by a bunch of other things to look at. I picked blue because it's not as like rainbow sunshine as yellow, but it is still a lighter, happier color, so it's not something super sad like black. And the blue would give the reader hope in doing such a hard thing like caring for newborns who are suffering from this horrible thing. The brochure also has pictures of children, which is relevant to the topic, and it's very clean and simple. And I did want to put a graph just to give some kind of visual on the statistical part of this. And where I think this would best be distributed would be in over the Rhine, Covington, Newport, Bellevue areas, and also in gas stations, Kroger, Target bathrooms, especially in that Newport Pavilion, because there is a high drug activity there. So anywhere where drug activity is high, I think that these pamphlets should be distributed. So lower income areas, and yeah, so this is my project. Thank you.